What is Slime Rancher? So, from SlimeRancher.com, it reads, Slime Rancher is the tale of Beatrix LeBeau, a plucky young rancher who sets out for a life 1,000 light-years away from Earth on the far, far range, where she tries her hand at making a living wrangling slimes. This is a first-person game with an emphasis on exploration and farming. It has a very happy aesthetic that is full of bright colors and cute sounds. So this game has slimes, which produce plorts, which you can sell. There are also tar, which occur when one slime eats 3 different kinds of plorts. There's also food that you can feed the slimes, and there's this other thing called slime science that gets unlocked later in the game. You can also purchase upgrades to improve your tools, and I think that about covers it. So let's talk about what this game is doing well and what it can improve on. The first thing we're going to talk about is what Nick Popovich, the CEO of Monami Park, calls the 90% loop. The 90% loop is basically what a player spends 90% of the game doing. In his GDC talk, I believe it was the preemptive postmortem, Nick Popovich talked about designing the 90% loop as if it were a complete game and presenting it as such, and seeing if people would be willing to purchase it to ensure that the game had a very strong foundation. For this game, the 90% loop refers to the ranching experience, going out and grabbing slimes, bringing them back, placing them in corrals, feeding them, collecting their plorts, selling them. Nick even mentioned in his GDC talk that they had scripted a tar attack to break out. So all of this culminates in a super fun game, especially early and mid-game. There's a ton to do. The map is quite large. There are areas locked behind doors that the player can explore, and there are the 7ZE pods that are all around the map as well. Plus there are the different unique slimes that you can find in each area. And because of the ingenious design of the vac pack, it has a very limited inventory space, which requires that the player return to the ranch at regular intervals, which makes them continue to complete the 90% loop. It reminds them to continue ranching. With this, the 7ZE Corporation keeps the player spending money so that later in the game, they don't get bored from having an abundance of resources, and they have another reason to keep completing the 90% loop, namely so that they can continue to make money so that they can afford their slime science machines and whatnot. So we know that the early game and the mid game are solid, but here's where we run into some issues in the late game stages. It's been said before, but micromanaging remains an issue, even after the devs released the drones to assist with this. The drones have helped alleviate some of the issue with micromanaging the ranch and not being able to go out and continue exploration in later game when the players have more slimes and resources to manage on the ranch. However, because of the limitations of the drones, it has quickly turned into the players are now just micromanaging the drones instead. And this is why you might have noticed that one of the save files that I have been playing on is modded. Back when I was playing the game regularly, I got caught up in the later part of the game, and I got sick and tired of micromanaging the drones, and I installed a mod that would allow the drones to have a higher capacity for water, and they would last longer, and I could install more of them on the individual sections of the ranch. A lot of my gameplay loops late game ended up turning into me running around shooting the drones with water and then running to my slime science resource gatherers and collecting those resources, and then that was all it was. I was not able to go out and continue to have fun in the world. I was simply my own sort of drone. So this also raises the question, should the devs extend the automation to the slime science part of the game? Late game, it was about the only gameplay I really had left, but I wasn't allowing myself the freedom to go out and experience any other gameplay that might be there. So it felt a lot like I was micromanaging my own ranch, so I think that there would be a lot of value in adding some sort of automation to the slime science. So I've already kind of touched on this, but this has also been said, I know. There's a lack of content, or I think it would be better to say a lack of variety of content. Now, this is getting better with time as the developers release updates and DLC. The kind of content I am specifically talking about would be something like more maps to explore, more slime types, more ranch expansions like you would get from the quests like Mochi and Victor, and I just want to live in the world some more, and I don't want to necessarily have to start the game entirely over. I think this could also be accomplished through more game modes. I don't exactly have an idea of what types. I think I should leave that up to the devs. But we already have a chill game mode. It's just for you want to live in the world, you don't want to have to deal with the tar outbreaks. And then we have a mode that is more for the speedrunner community, or perhaps someone who wants to just maybe experience something a little different. There could be more there. One other thing could be different kinds of quests, so not just the fetch and retrieve quests that we have right now. Again, I'm not sure what would exactly fit in the game, the way that quests are implemented that would not be fetch and carry, but I think that that is another avenue that the developers could explore. I'm going to touch on something that I know the devs are super aware about because Nick gave another GDC talk on it in his Emergent Storytelling and Slime Rancher talk. Much of this is due to the fact that action in the game happens toward the camera. Tabby slimes, they're gonna boop the player, they're gonna jump towards the camera. Tar, they try to attack the player from the front, so you're going to be getting a lot of action happening front and center. Nick also talked about the fact that slimes have needs and they have wants, and these influence the way that the slimes act in the world. For instance, slimes, one of their needs is to eat, and then one of their wants is going to be, like I said earlier with the tabby slime, to boop the player, right? So you'll see different actions from these combinations of wants and needs, and the player, while they don't necessarily understand these needs and wants behind the scenes under the hood, they will see this story playing out and they will come up with their own idea of what is happening. So going from the emergent storytelling, we're also going to talk about emergent gameplay. So scrolling around on the internet, I was looking into some Slime Rancher community posts, and I saw people making what they called fireworks, which were they would take the echoes from the ancient ruins and they would place them along a boom Gordo, and then they would explode the Gordo, sending the echoes all across the sky, and it would create this beautiful firework. People have also used the echoes to create these gorgeous murals or pride flags in-game, and then screenshot it and post it for the community to see. Also, because of the unique mechanic where slimes mix to make a Largo that has both of their traits, people have created a testing ground of sorts to mix and match slimes to see what each of the combinations look like. And with the most recent release of the DLC, the hashtag #MySecretStyle has come into play, where players will do something to that effect, but then also they will turn on the secret styles and mix and match to create what they call their secret style, and then post that resulting slime to the internet. So we all know that the devs are listening. They might even watch this video. They're very active on YouTube. So the game keeps getting better, and I have no doubt that it will continue to do so. Just to kind of consolidate all these points that I talked about, the things that Slime Rancher does well are as follows. The 90% loop. Nick gave a GDC talk on it, so it must be good. Players want to stay in the world, The emergent storytelling and the emergent gameplay, there's a lot of possibilities there, and with continued content updates, I know that they're only going to continue to grow. Things that Slime Rancher could improve on is the micromanaging in late game. the lack of the variety of the content that is available. We could achieve that through different kinds of quests, more game modes, more maps, more slimes, more ranch expansions. But overall, this game has endured for years after its first release, and I think that Monomi Park really do know what they are doing, and they are going to continue to make this a really fantastic game experience. Okay, thanks, bye.